Welcome to Tabletop Battle and this first look at the Konflikt 47 rules by Clockwork Goblin, Warlord Games and Osprey Publishing. And also a look at the Grizzly Medium Walker. This is the Bruin Support Walker. And the Grizzly, as you might know, is the mainstay of the US Armed Forces in Konflikt 47.
Konflikt 47 is an expansion to Warlord Games' widely popular bolt-action 28mm game. But you can also play it as a standalone game with the rules found inside this book. You can use the models that you already have from bolt action, but there will be additional units that you might want to get if you want to play this game to full effect, like walkers, vampires, schwere Feldprojectors, sound cannons. They're awesome. But we're going to take a look at that and more of the book in just a minute. First off, let's take a quick look at the contents of the book. You have a 208-page book that has the normal bolt action rules in them, but you also have some additional rules that we still haven't got in bolt action, but might be coming in version 2. We don't know, but we'll take a look at some of them later. In addition to that, you of course have new units and new special rules. But for those of you who are wanting to know more about how the world turned into Konflikt 47, there's a 25-page Fluff Section that lets you know what happened between 1943 and, well, now. To give you the short story, 1943 the US conducted some experimental nuclear tests which opened up a rift in reality. That led to a new arms and technology race that brought about walkers, zombies, vampires, werewolves, all the good stuff if you love Twilight, or if you love just zombies or werewolves.
And who doesn't?
And who doesn't? That's pretty much all the new cool stuff. Of course, the world is divided, and we now have three parties, so to speak, that fight against each other. It is, of course, the Allies, it is Russia, and it is Germany. The weapons chart is pretty much the same one that we'll find in the bolt action rulebook, but we have some new additions, some names that we haven't seen before. Just wanted to show you quickly. We have something called Dual Weapons Pack. We have the M17 Tesla Cannon. We have the Sukhoi Projector and the Schwerfeld Projector. Now, if you look at the pictures of some of these models on the net, it's pretty much sound cannons that force your enemy down and slow them down, which also you can see in the rules, especially of the projectors.
Yeah, maybe you can also see a few of the new weapon special rules: Tesla, Shockwave,
and Gravity Pulse.
Unit special rules. Some of them are, like you know, from before in bolt action, but they're also a cool addition. And we have something called Automaton. You have Tough, Tooth and Claw, Large Infantry, Totenkorps, Flight, Slow, Fast, Resilient,
Infrared Vision,
Strong,
Cool,
and Horror.
So lots of new fun stuff to play with and to get busy with. So a new addition to the movement chart is walkers, because now you have tanks that have legs instead of tracks, and slightly different profiles for them than the normal tanks. Now, walkers also have its own section in the book that tells you what a walker can do when it's fighting infantry, when it's fighting tanks, if it at all can fight tanks, because you require special gear and equipment to do that. And some of the special rules that we can also find on walkers are jump, fist, and agile. Okay, we're going to take a quick look at the four nations that's represented in the book. First of them is Germany.
Yes, and there is one new special rule that is specific for Germany, which is called Fatherland Resurgent, which allows them to ignore one pin marker if the unit is more than 5 models strong, or more than 5 models.
The Konflikt 47 rulebook has a smaller selection of normal infantry and normal tanks to make space for more unusual infantry and unusual tanks. But you have a wide selection for each nation listed. Some of the new cool stuff that you will find in the German army list is
Totenkorps, which are basically zombies. They have lots of special rules, which is cool. You have a Schreckwolfen, which is basically
werewolves.
Yes, And some...
Tons of rules on these guys.
Yeah, some new...
And expensive.
Yes, they're expensive, but there are still now you will find some units that have 3 or 2 instead of the normal 5. So, lastly, we want to take a look at the Nachtjäger Assault Squad. These are flyers.
Yeah, I'd call them mutated humans. They look like something between a bat and human, so Batman? Vampires, they're vampires.
These are my favorites by far.
Moving on to the United States, they have also received a new special rule called Plentiful Supply. The US are very well supplied at this point and have ammunition, food and everything they need. As such, any US infantry team weapon may reroll to hit rolls of 1. Now in addition to that, you have lots of new cool stuff, but we're just going to take a quick look at some of them. You have Firefly Jump Infantry. It is an expensive squad, but they can fly. They have flight special rule. They also have access to Heavy Infantry Squad. That is armored infantrymen.
Badasses.
Yeah, they're large, they are resilient, they have infrared vision because high-tech stuff.
And now the US also can spout a lot of assault rifles.
Yes. And in addition to that, as you will see shortly, we will also introduce you to one of the new things in the game, that is a Walker. So we're going to introduce that one to it. That is the M8A4 Bruin Support Walker. It has, well, it doesn't have that many rules, but it has a lot of firepower, which is pretty much the US in every game you find. Fire first, shoot later. Wait, no, fire first, ask questions later.
Okay, then you move on to, or we move on to Great Britain and the Commonwealth. They have their normal special rules, which are plentiful, but they also get a new one, which is keep calm and carry on. So if you give British infantry a down order, you may remove one pin marker, and that is quite powerful. Some of the new units, you will have seen a picture of this before, the automated infantry section, the automaton.
Robots.
Well, robots. They have a 2-man squad with medium machine gun. That's a cool unit since it's not like human.
No.
Then you have armored infantry section, which you will also have seen. And well, they're much like their US counterpart.
Mother Russia, the Soviet Union. They don't get any new special rules, unlike the other 3 nations, but they do get some very cool units to compensate for that. Amongst them, we have Siberian Terror Squad. These are very nasty. They're immune to fire.
And cold.
And cold. We have Ursus Infantry. This is a huge-ass bear in man form. I'm really looking forward to seeing these models.
Yes, they will be awesome.
Yes. And they have what I think will be the biggest new model, is a Mammoth Heavy Walker. Now, I can't tell you the amount of weapons it's on there, but it is enough shooting to destroy an army on its own. And the cost of the thing is also the same. But you can also reduce the cost of the thing by substituting some weapons for others.
And as you now can see, the Germans and the Russians are the ones that are dabbling in the supernatural, while the Allies
are dabbling in technology and firepower.
Yes,
Yes.
as it should be.
As it should be.
And of course, later on, we will see more armor books released for the other nations, at least Japan, since they are part of the Axis with Germany. And it will be interesting to see what they bring to the table.
Absolutely.
So as you mentioned, there are a few new rules that are not covered in the original bolt action rules. One of them is reactions. In bolt action you can go down and you can have reaction fire when you're being ambushed. This is greatly expanded on, and also if you have played Gates of Antares you will recognize a few of those new rules from that game. So there are a couple of new rules that allow you to do certain actions as a reaction. For close quarters there has also been a few changes. One of them is called point blank shooting, which previously one side was allowed to do, but now both sides can do. And also when you lose models in a close combat, you actually take pin markers, and if neither side is declared a winner, that means if one unit loses more than the other, you also have to take a morale test.
We're going to take a look at one of the new things that you'll find in Conflict 47, and that is a walker. Most of the walkers that you find in the game are slightly less armored than their tank counterparts, but they make up for that with a variety of weapons and both special rules for the walkers themselves and rules that are universal for all walkers. This is the M8A4 Bruin Support Walker. It's made of the chassis of the Grizzly Walker, which is the mainstay walker for both the US and British forces in Conflict 47. Now, I assembled the model, and I bought the model at, where did I buy it? Salute.
2016.
Yes. I only just got to assemble it and paint it, and as usual, it was a real joy. It was very little mold lines, not too fiddly bits, and the paint job was done in roughly 5 or 6 hours. It really lends itself to a quick and easy paint job, and I'm quite happy with it. The model itself is a medium walker with a 8+ armor. Now, the universal special rules for walkers in this game is that you don't reduce armor if you are on the side, rear or top. You have 8 regardless. This one, in addition, has the walker special rule. The gun that you see in the front, the case mounted, has no HE, and the howitzers that it has for arms has no indirect fire. Now, as I just said, it is a casement mounted medium anti-tank gun. It has pintle mounted heavy machine gun and arm mounted heavy howitzers. They don't fire as a pair, but they do fire right, left and forward. And this thing costs about the same as your standard Sherman. And this is a support walker. It's slightly more expensive than the Grizzly, but again slightly cheaper than the high armored walkers that you will find for Germany and for Russia. Alright, this was the preview of Conflict 47 and the M8 A4 Assault Walker. Now you can watch it in action if you want to by clicking the link that will take you to our very first Conflict 47 battle report between the United States and Germany.
So expect some supernaturals.